you constantly say that you will not choose between the relationship with America and the relationship with our European partners, or indeed with Japan and Canada for that matter. But nonetheless, you are somebody who has a record of standing up for human rights, for decency. When you read, the American president saying things on his Truth Social page, like open the straight, some say blaspheming, for Muslims when he says praise be to Allah, when he's putting pressure on Iran, and then that other extraordinary statement where he said a whole civilization would die tonight if Iran didn't capitulate. These are absolute, I'll be honest, somebody who has been immersed for decades in following politics, I never thought an American president would make such inflammatory, appalling remarks, truthfully. So I just wondered, how did you feel about that? And how do you sustain a relationship with an American president who can say those things?
Well, let me be really clear and blunt about this. They're not words I would use or would ever use, because I come at this with our British values and principles at the foremost and uppermost in my mind. So they're not language I would use.
Can you work with a president who will say something like a whole civilization will die tonight? The distinguished historian Tim Snyder says this is basically saying he would commit genocide.
Well, that's why I say I would never use those words, language like that myself. Very important that I'm clear that for the United Kingdom, we have our principles, we have our values, we will be guided by them in everything that we do. That's why I've said, and obviously it's caused a degree of criticism and pressure in the last few weeks. I've been saying we are not going to be dragged into this war, because I say there must be a lawful basis. That matters. If you're going to commit our service personnel to risk their lives, they need to know they're doing so on a lawful basis. It's not a question of remote international law. These are real people who take risks of their lives on our behalf. They need to know that what they're doing is lawful. I owe them that, and I will never give up on that. Secondly, there must be a viable, thought-through plan. And absent those two things, then it is not in our national interest to get involved, and we won't. And I've been really clear in relation to that. Yes, it's drawn criticism. Yes, it's drawn pressure, but I'm not yielding to that, because my principles, my values, and they're the British principles and values. They're the base on which we've always acted as a country. We'll always act as a country, and I'm very proud of what we do. I'm proud of our service personnel as well. As I say, I've had the chance to thank some of them, but they've been up in the sky since 2 hours after this conflict started, taking down missiles. They're real professionals, and we owe it to them and to the whole country to always follow our principles and our values. They will guide us, they will guide me to the right decisions, and I'm not going to waver or yield to any pressure from anyone in that regard.